Hey guys, this is Camfrey15 and I'm back at it with another video for you guys. And this is another Food Wars Season 5 review for you guys. I'm sorry this video is coming up a little late. I was busy, after I watched the episode and I was kind of trying to solve some things out. But I saw the episode and yeah, I thought, again, it was another decent episode. We get the who won this and the hype up match for the final episode in Food Wars, which obviously is going to be Soma versus Erina. And yeah, so let's get to it. So, obviously we last saw, the gifting activate when Soma freaking when Soma activated activated that within Mana after feeding the odorless rice and stuff like that. And they bring up a point, like Azumi brings up a point, like saying this part of the gifting is causing them to disrupt, but it's different because it's called the bursting. So the gifting bursting, it's like I guess you could say tier 2 of the gifting and stuff like that. So yeah. Now this is when we get to I would say this is when we get to who wins because that's the thing, who won. Now, Mana goes on to say that Ashihi's dish, because Ashihi's talking like, no, you can't compare to my dish. My dish is better than your dish, Soma Yukihira. And Mana says, yes, your dish was good, but there's one problem, in the dish. And she goes on to say, the dish had no personal flavor in it. And it was because since he used other chefs like knives, other tools to cook his food, there was never that, sense of, what makes his dish special. What's his dish, that makes it best, like his own personal touch to his dish and stuff like that, which she says, that's what, she's like, compared to Soma Yukihira, he had all that stuff in his dish, and from over everything he's learned and all the people he's learned from and stuff like that. And because of it, Soma wins 3-0 against Ashi, which proves the point here is that, which kind of was leading up to, standards in this, part of the season is, it doesn't matter if you take somebody's, tools and you're able to be cooking just as good as that person based on who you're copying. It's based on what do you personally put in your own dish or the teachings you have with the dish. It was kind of a repetitive thing from the one dude who did the copy cooking thing from way back in season 1. It was something like that, but I guess more expanded. It's like, Soma won because he learned a lot of things over the time at Totsuki compared to Ashi, who's kind of trying to, I guess you could say, cheat to get ahead and be ahead of the game. So stuff like that. Now Ashi, he's willing to give back Joichiro's knife to Soma, but Soma's like, nah, you keep it. You beat my dad. I just beat you. Which honestly, I figured in this moment, I was like, oh, Soma's not going to take it. Because we remember when, he had a chance to take back all the knives. He didn't give him, he took it back, but he just didn't want to give it all back or something like that. We know Soma, he's been like that. It's like if you put something against him, and you're willing to give something back, he doesn't want to give it back. It's the same thing like that one Mezzaluna episode with Soma and Takumi and stuff like that. So yeah, now Soma even asks, why did you want to marry Erina? And we get the whole thing thanks to the backstory with, Ashi and Joichiro, the fact that even Joichiro always said to Soma, he just never heard it. He's like, yeah, you're going to make sure you have the passion to cook for somebody else, essentially, like that. Now, Ashi, he kind of walks off in disgust and doesn't say it and stuff like that. And yeah, so Ashi's gone. He's gone. And stuff like that. Now, he actually runs into Joichiro. Joichiro said, look, you'll find what you're looking for one of these days. And, just to let you know, I'm your dad when it comes to cooking and stuff like that. So that was a nice little thing, that even though Aji kind of just like, man, screw you, whatever, and stuff like that. So yeah. Now, his Noir members, they're like, Ashi and stuff like that. They're like, he eventually quits Noir, but you know, and stuff like that. He's gonna go on his own, as he said, but Sarge and the other Noir members said, no, we're gonna keep following you to the very end. We're gonna be with you to the very end. So his story is over, as well as Noir's story. So yeah, thank goodness he's out of the story. Honestly, if you ask me, he was the weakest antagonist of the entire Food Wars series. If you ask me, like, did I feel sympathy for him at the end? No. Honestly, if you ask me, I didn't feel no sympathy from him. I'm like, bro, you cheated to get your way all the way here, and you're talking so big and mighty. Now you finally get checked by Soma, and now you're humble as a rock. Okay, fine. I was like, get the hell out of here. Move. And stuff like that. Now, Soma he's congratulated by the others, and, Soma's like, oh yeah, maybe this means good things for me and stuff like that. Now, Mana goes on to say, like, look, I want a better dish from you in the finals. So, yeah. And then the next big thing is Erina kind of walks in to the little group, and someone's like, hey, Erina, can't wait to compete with you in the finals. And she kind of like just gives him the cold shoulder and doesn't even listen, just walks past him and stuff like that. And that makes everybody else in the group all shocked and everything. We cut over to Mana and Azumi talking, for I guess you could say the first time in like years. And this is when we get the backstory of how they fell in love with each other. And the thing is, after, Joichiro left Totsuki, and we all know that Azumi, he got depressed and, he didn't have a passion for cooking. After some time passed, he met Mana, and Mana thought one of his dishes was disgusting and stuff like that, or not up to par to her standards. And essentially you just see him, continuously cooking for her. So you have this one moment, where Mana's like, this time it wasn't as bad, but still could be a little work, as she blushes. And then the more he cooks for her and stuff like that, they later start cooking together, and then that's when they fell in love with each other. And then that's how they had the kid. And then, when, Mana found out Erina at a young age, like a baby age, had the god's tongue, that's when she got in the whole thing where she's like, oh, no, she's gonna be doomed just like me, and then that's how you have her walk out and stuff like that. You even do get and then they cut over to Erina. Now, Erina, she's in this mindset of she wants to be the one that impresses her mom, because we cut back to another flashback when she was younger. She made a dish for her mom, but, the one thing about Mana is she never told Erina that her food was delicious or anything, even though she kind of put on a face that, she liked the food and stuff like that. And we know the thing with Erina is she wants to impress her mom and have her mom like her food and stuff like that. And she wants to be the person that saves her mom. And again, I understand and stuff like that. But, she's kind of giving the cold shoulder to her friends and not really being, I guess you could say, the nicest guy to people. Now, we also do get a revelation here is that the grandpa, Erina's grandfather, he knew that what was going to happen to Erina, like what happened to Mana, he wanted to make sure before he eventually kicked the bucket and passes away, he wanted to make sure his daughter and his granddaughter, they're happy and they're set and, they're okay for the remaining parts of their life. And what he does is, this is when we get, oh, so that's how these students got to Totsuki, and how really Soma went to Totsuki as well. And essentially, I forgot what it was called, but it was like the generational, like something like get together or something like that. And essentially what happens is, Alice's dad actually recruits some of the top, people, some of the top kids of this generation, the Soma's generation, which is obviously the characters we all know and love today when they were younger and stuff like that. That's when they were all recruited to go to Totsuki and stuff like that. And Soma, that's how, Megami, Takami, his brother, Mito, that's how, and Soma himself too, that's how they all came to Totsuki, because it was this one generational talent which would surround Erina to, I guess, in a way, to make her want to compete against others and have that passion for cooking and stuff like that. So that was the one thing. And yeah, so, in the last few minutes of the episode, Soma and Erina are matched up against each other in the finals. Well, actually, even before that, there was a part before the final scene. You have Soma just sitting down, looking at the castle, and to say, he remembers all the memories with him and Erina, from the very first part, and back in season 1 when they first met, and she said, "Yo, your food is disgusting" and stuff like that. And you just see the progression and stuff like that. This also, like I said, this leads me to believe that Soma does care about Erina in maybe a more romantic way. It makes me remind me, because I do watch My Teen Romantic Comedy, and that was a great episode yesterday. It makes me feel like, he's like Hachiman, where it's hard for him to get across his feelings, to express his feelings. It's through his way of cooking. And I feel like he wants to express his way of how he feels to Erina through his cooking and stuff like that. And plus, we all know Soma, he wants Erina to finally say that his food, his meal is delicious and stuff like that. So, yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. And I think they were also playing the very first opening of Food Wars through that entire thing as well. So it was nice to see that Soma was actually thinking of Erina because he's worried about her. He's worried about her and stuff like that. So, like I said, the episode, it ends off with, Soma and Erina, facing off each other, against each other, which, again, I call a coincidence because, they are the two main characters of the show and stuff like that, and the show has revolved around them. So their dish they have to make for this final, final round to Mana, which Mana's the judge. The final dish has to be something that the world has never seen before, which, okay, I don't know if that's possible, but all right. But anyways, we see Erina because the other group mentions, they're like, is Erina like okay? Because she's been acting different. You can see Erina. It's like she's going crazy and she's way too determined. She's like, honestly going insane. Just try to please her mom and everything to the point, it's like she's not even focused on cooking. It's like she's going through the motions of her cooking to try to get this thing done. And then you have Soma come over, get a spoon, sip whatever, spice or whatever it was that Erina made. And he's like, this is pretty boring. If you're gonna, and he goes to tell her, he's like, look, if you're gonna act like this, then, I ain't gonna give it my all, and stuff like that. And you see Erina just, with tears in her eyes, obviously, with what's going on and stuff. He's like, well, and someone's like, well then, okay, I know what I'm gonna make now. And he kind of ends off the episode by saying, don't worry about this. I got this, Erina Nakari. And that's when the episode ends off. And yeah, so next week is going to be the series finale. So, after next week, it's over. No more Food Wars, no more nothing unless, the creator wants to come back and continue the series in terms of maybe, I guess, a Boruto-like thing. Yeah, so next week is the series finale, and hell, next week, if you saw the next episode title preview, it's titled Food Wars, which, makes sense, they gotta go off. So, and I know this is one of the biggest parts where the entire Food Wars fandom who read the manga is waiting to see, will the anime change the way how Food Wars ends? And I know a lot of manga people want it to end. I think maybe, they'll add a little, as the, episode's ending, maybe they'll add some, extra scenes, hopefully, that the animation company, I don't know that the animation company is doing the anime, but hopefully they end it off and stuff like that. Also, it feels like, too, that, Soma's going to save Erina. I feel like Erina will probably finally admit to Soma that his dish is delicious and stuff like that. And maybe Erina and Soma might have a talk. Maybe we'll get somewhat of a, confession like we did in My Teen Romantic Comedy yesterday. Who knows what might happen? I think, the last dish of Food Wars will be the dish where it will impress Mana, it will impress Erina, and stuff like that. So, so next week is going to be the last episode of Food Wars. I'll give my thoughts on that, and then more than likely next Friday, I'll give my entire thoughts on Season 5 as my goodbye to Food Wars, in a way where I'll just say, obviously when I'm done with the review of season 5, I'll say like, well, Food Wars is a great series, and but like I said, I'll say it now, Food Wars is a great series, and if you haven't seen Food Wars, I really go recommend you check it out. I know it's like, well, you're watching Food Wars, because of it. But Food Wars, it is one of those animes that, even though season 5 wasn't the best season, and like I said, it's probably the worst season out of all the 5 seasons, it was still good. Food Wars is still a good series. And damn, I'm going to miss it because I just love all the characters and stuff like that. And this is a series that I'll watch time in, time again, over and over and over. And yeah, so next week is gonna be the season finale. I mean, not the season finale. Well, yes, but the series finale. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. I do believe Soma will make probably the best dish that the world has never seen before. We'll get Mana to change, which will also get Erina to change, and who knows, maybe we might get a confession. Finally between either Soma or Erina that about the feelings they have for one another. And yeah, and that's really it. And then we'll just end off the series, and then that'll be it. So yeah, so I'm gonna get out of here, guys. I'll catch you guys on the next video. So I'll see you guys next Friday for the season finale, or the series finale of Food Wars. So till then, guys, hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.